Are work issues the reason why you are over-consuming marijuana? A lot of people come to me for marijuana addictions. And when it comes to marijuana addiction, usually the people that are consuming marijuana in excess didn't start off that way. And in fact, they started off with maybe it being more of a social participation, something that they just hung out with some friends after school, smoked a joint, passed it along, and then played some video games. But as I grew into adulthood, one of the things that often happens is those friends groups kind of split as people have to pay rent, go to work, they have kids to raise, they have relationships. And so people kind of moved on with their life. And so now there's a little less community that they had originally. And there's the life stressors that everybody on this planet has to deal with, whether that's paying the bills on time, dealing with relationship ups and downs, breakups, family health matters, you name it. There's all kinds of stressors that come on in our life. Now, what often happens is somebody starting off marijuana isn't getting into dabs or gummies or things like that right off the bat, smoking carts, none of those. If anything, it's usually a small amount of consumption. But as stressors in life start to pile up, people start to have this subconscious awareness that, oh man, I could have a really bad day at work. I could come home and smoke a J and it's all gone. It'll go away. I won't have to think about it. I won't have to feel it. It'll be over. And some of the clients I've seen have actually told me that halfway through their workday even, they're already looking forward to getting off of work and just lighting up another smoke. So, what's really going on underneath this? Is it actually your job causing the stress? Why are you going towards something that just alters your state? Is it because you maybe struggle to deal with the conflicts in your life or you're not wanting to? So where I kind of come in here is a hypnotist, is I'm actually somebody that will help people get to the subconscious issue. Now, a lot of people that come to me for these problems aren't necessarily aware of why they have the problem to begin with, because let's just be fair here. If all of us knew how to not be depressed, most of us wouldn't be depressed. If most of us knew how to just turn off that anxiety like a light switch, why would anybody need anxiety medication? Why would anybody seek counseling? So, as much as we may think we know what the problem is, the reality is that if it's a subconscious issue, you might relapse, you might find yourself quitting, but only to get back on it because you're not able to address what's going on at the root cause of the addiction. It actually might just be that you aren't the best at speaking up and asserting your own boundaries, saying no, and not doing things that you don't want to do. And so after years and years of dissociating, coming home rather than feeling your problems and sitting in them, you smoke a J, you feel better, and then you kind of just go about your life without thinking about it. And you do that long enough for years and years. Eventually what ends up happening is the benefits or the awesome experience that you may have had from smoking marijuana actually starts to have the opposite effect. There's a pile up going on in the background of unresolved issues. And when you're not resolving issues, no one here is Superman. We all are going to have our own forms of kryptonite. And so people have that experience sometimes in their life with anxiety, depression, and maybe they started smoking because of those reasons. Maybe they have some anger issues. Maybe they have anxiety issues. And at first it was helpful. But as time goes on, a lot of the clients that I see actually end up reporting that it makes their issues worse. And so they try to get off of it. They start to realize that once they get through some of the withdrawal symptoms, they feel a lot better. But again, it's a subconscious issue. There's something going on that is keeping that habit going. And because you've done this for years, you've escaped problems, you've taken your hand, you smoked, you've moved on, you've kind of ingrained some kind of a pattern, something that you're just ritualistically participating in every day. You're not really cognizant of it, like when you took your first drag. Oh, how do I do this? I got to hold the lighter in this way and inhale, but I got to inhale maybe deeper. So you weren't having to be so mindful as time went on with your habit. And as your habit developed, it became more of something that you just did. It was something that you didn't have to think about doing, just like when you first drove a car. When you're first driving a car, you have to actually be very mindful of which one here is going to turn left blinker on or the right blinker, or how hard do I need to press the brake, or how soft do I need to start pushing the accelerator pedal once the light turns green. All those things in the beginning of any experience is something that you have to be mindful of. But as time goes on, you actually find yourself not thinking about driving. You might start daydreaming and just kind of thinking about other things from your workday, or you might even take a wrong turn because you're so in your head you kind of forgot where you were. It's the same thing can be applied to any habit in life. Once you do something often and frequently enough, what actually ends up happening a lot of the times is it's a mindless act. It's a habit that is now ingrained in you, and it's something that you've become proficient in. Just like you're probably at this point in your life pretty proficient in your driving capabilities. You no longer have to think about it, you just do it. And that's where a lot of people have these relapses. So if you don't actually address the root cause of what's going on when it comes to this marijuana consumption, whether it's your job or your inability to deal with the things on your job, or just the fact that you are not able to accept that, you know what, I want to leave this job, be sober enough to pass some of the drug tests to get into better jobs, well, the same issue is going to keep coming. You're going to have those relapses. You're going to have to jump around from job to job because you're not necessarily as mindful or present with your job currently. So if you're actually ready to kick the habit and sincerely ready to do it, just hit up my Calendly link and we can have a call.